Hey, so I'm Rose, I'm 17, and last year I fell down the stairs. I fell down the stairs and I got a really bad concussion. So this is a weird way of starting a video about cancer, but it's a story. And also, I am so sorry that my hair is probably a mess right now. But anyway, okay, so last year I was a junior in high school, and the last week of school I fell down the stairs. Whenever we were in the middle of class, we were heading down to the principal's office to turn in our newspaper, because I was the assistant editor and it was our job to like show it to the principal and be like, is this okay? And he would either approve or like say, no, you can't do this. So we were walking down the stairs, and the previous weekend my friend was at prom and she twisted her ankle, so she was on crutches. And she didn't want to walk all the way down to the end of the hallway at school to use the elevator. She was just like, we can just use the stairs, like it's right here. And I was like, alright, fine, like that's a great idea, let's do it. And so we started walking down, and she was just like, hey, like, Rose, hold my crutches for me because I don't want to walk down the stairs with crutches. Like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, alright, yeah, fine, you can trust me, like I'm really trustworthy, like you can do that. Should have been my first clue that she didn't want to use the crutches on the stairs, but I tucked them under my arm. She's taller than me too, by the way. So I tucked them under my arms and I started using them. And I got down like the first flight fine. The second flight, however, I fell. I fell down 12 concrete steps, and the crutches like twisted me in the air, and I like slammed my head on the ground, like the back of it. And I had never used crutches before, by the way. And I was also wearing a skirt at the time, so like that was my first thought. I was like, oh my god, no, like people are gonna see my underwear. So I stood up like immediately, and I was standing there and my friends were just like, oh my god, Rose, are you okay? Like they were screaming. I was like, I was like, I'm fine, man, like you don't have to worry, bro. And then I passed out. The police officers had run over like right away, basically, because the Friday before, this was on Monday, the Friday before the Santa Fe shooting had happened, and we were fairly close, like where my high school is, we're fairly close to there. So all the police officers and everyone were on edge. We had extra police officers for extra security, and so they rushed over like right away because they were just like, oh my god, like what's happening? And then they see me with crutches splayed around me. I'm unconscious on the floor, and then I come back like to consciousness. And I stand up and I'm just like, oh, I'm fine, like, you don't have to worry. And they were just like, ma'am, you just fell down the stairs, are you hurt? Do you need these crutches? And I was like, oh, no, I don't need them. They're not mine. And they kept asking me over and over again, like, do you need these crutches? Are you hurt? And I was like, no, I'm fine, like, I shouldn't have even been using them. So the nurse's office was fairly close to where we were, so they come out and they put me in a wheelchair and they take me to the nurse's office, and we call my grandma to come pick me up because both my parents were working. And so my grandma comes to pick me up and I go home. Like I can't really hear anything. My vision is like really spotty. I had like bruises and stuff all over my body because I fell down 12 concrete steps. And this was like first period, so it was really early in the day. So I went home and my mom like rushes home, right? So it should have been way worse than it was, right? I only had a concussion and I didn't ever have any headaches. I didn't even have a lump on my head. So I hit my head really hard, so like even now I'm just like, I don't know why. And I pride myself on not being like extremely stupid. So I don't know why I was just like, oh my god, first time using crutches right now on the stairs, let's do it. So I still don't know why I did it. I don't know what was going through my mind at the moment because I don't really 100% remember. But anyway, so my mom comes home and we're just like, we're taking you to the ER, like right now. And so they took me to the ER and they did like a scan of my head and my neck because I was like, oh, my neck hurts really bad. And so they do a CT scan and they're just like, and I'm like sitting in the room and I'm feeling like a lot better. Like, and the doctor comes in, he's just like, hey, your neck and everything in your head looks fine, like there's no brain swelling, nothing is broken, but you do have a nodule on the left side of your thyroid. And he was just like, it's not, most of the time they're not cancers, but you should probably get it checked out because there are some concerning features on it. What he meant was there was microcalcifications in it, basically that it was starting to like get like little hard bits in it. and you could tell that from the CT scan. So we go home, and of course, like the first thing I do when I get in the car is I look up like thyroid nodule with calcifications, like what does that mean? And it was saying that it was that a lot of times those features are for a cancerous nodule. And I was just like, well, like, that would really suck. And so we like schedule a doctor's appointment, and we meet with my doctor, and he like feels it up, you know, like he feels up my throat, which is really uncomfortable, by the way. If you've ever had people just like, I just had people like constantly feeling at my neck, and I just didn't like it. But anyway, so at this point I didn't know it was cancerous. I just knew like, hey, I have a lump in my throat. And you know, as soon as they, like, I had never noticed it before, like I hadn't had any other symptoms really other than the nodule itself. And so like as soon as they pointed out, I was like, I would like always swallow, and I could like feel it like bobbing up and down, and you could feel it sort of, you know, you could sort of see it. My family like I pointed it out to them all the time. I was like, oh my god, look, you can feel it. And they got freaked out. But so we went to my doctor, and he was just like, I recommend getting an ultrasound for this. So we did, and this was about late June, maybe early July. It was a little after my birthday, and my birthday's at the end of June. Anyway, so we get the ultrasound, and they're just like, yeah, and I met with my who would be my surgeon in the future if they decided to get it needed to be removed. So we meet with them, and they after the ultrasound, and they're just like, you know, I don't want to say that it's cancerous because we haven't done the biopsy, but it does have some really concerning features, and you're only 17, and it's not common for like teenagers to have nodules and stuff like that, so that's a warning sign, but like you don't have to worry because it's not very common. And I was just like, okay, like fine, whatever. And so I looked it up like immediately whenever I got home, and the odds or about 25 or 30% that it would be cancer, so I was feeling fine about it, you know. And I looked up, and it says that it was the good cancer, you know, and all that crap, and I was just like, okay, fine, like I'm gonna be fine. So we got a biopsy after that, and let me just say, that hurt. And I had gotten an industrial, I don't have it anymore because I had to take it out for surgery and it closed up, but I had gotten an industrial bore put in, and those things hurt. and they hadn't told me really what it was going to feel like whenever I did the biopsy. I knew that they were going to numb it, but I didn't really process that the numbing involved sticking needles a bunch of times into the area to shove lidocaine up in it, which hurt really bad. It hurt to swallow for a while after that. But a couple days later, and this was like late July, maybe mid-July, yeah, mid-July, because I went on a vacation late July. A couple days later, it was a Friday, I was at home, and they called my mom, and they were just like, yeah, like it's cancer, like it's papillary thyroid cancer, and like your daughter's not gonna die, but I mean it sucks. So sorry. So we immediately, they were just like, okay, so you're gonna meet with your endocrinologist because you're young, the chance of recurrence is fairly high, so we want to take the whole thing out. And your thyroid controls so much, like it controls your temperature, your metabolism, your energy levels, your heart rate. It controls so much, and so you need to take hormones like for the rest of your life afterwards to regulate everything and keep you like not from dying, basically, because without it you'll die. Which my first thought really was, oh my god, I'm gonna die in a zombie apocalypse. Like, even if I don't die from being turned into a zombie, like my body is just gonna shut down eventually. So I don't remember what I was talking about. So immediately we started scheduling the surgery to get it removed. And we had told them from the start, we were going to Washington, D.C. and Virginia. We were told them, like from the moment we first met them, even before we knew we had a surgery, we were just like, we are going on a vacation at the end of July. And we paid for it, we paid for the plane tickets, and we don't have the kind of money to just like willy-nilly, but we don't have the kind of money to just like cancel a vacation, you know, because we spent money on that. We spent money on plane tickets, and medical bills are expensive no matter who you are. And so that was a concern, but beside the point, we were going on this vacation, and they had scheduled the surgery without consulting us, that the surgery was going to be scheduled for the day that we were gonna be leaving for our vacation. And we were just like, we have told y'all for months that we were going on this vacation, like we can't cancel it. And they were all like trying to guilt us into not going, but not like your daughter's gonna die if you don't do this, not like that kind of guilting, more just like, oh well, blah blah blah. And we were just like, why would we managed to reschedule the surgery? And my hope at the time was that I was going to be back to normal by the time school started. So they rescheduled the surgery to the 3rd day of my senior year. The 3rd day. Which I was just like, you know what? Like fine. We'll be fine with this, you know? It'll be fine. Like I'll take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and then I'll be back on Monday. Which I was. I only took 3 days off for the surgery, which I highly regret. And I remember texting my friends. One of our first was diagnosed with cancer. I was just like, hey, guess who's a double cancer now? So we come back. I start going to school Monday and Tuesday, and I tell all my teachers and my counselors, I'm just like, hey, like I'm going to be gone for 3 days, and I don't know how many days after that, like for doctor's appointments, because I have cancer and I have to get the tumor, or I guess it's a tumor nodule, I have to get it removed in the rest of my thyroid, so I'm having a surgery. And one of my main concerns was I had never really had a major surgery before, other than like my tonsils and adenoids whenever I was like 2, so I didn't remember it. So I go in for my surgery. I was really upset. I had to take all my piercings out, and it closed up like this second hole on this ear, so I have 2 on this ear now, 1 on this ear, and I had an industrial bar here that I don't have anymore, which I'm really sad about, because I had to take all of them out, and my belly button piercing, because whenever they make the incision, they use like a thing that cauterizes as it cuts, and so it might burn metal places. So I took all those out, and so they finally take us back, and I had to put on one of those gross hospital gowns. And then eventually they took me back, took me away, and I had been telling my parents for so long. I was just like, if y'all do not get me a balloon that says get well soon, I'm gonna be mad. That's all I want. And so that was like the last thing I thought of, like whenever I was going. That's the last thing I remember. I remember them putting the mask on, and they were just like, you better take in a lot of deep breaths if this is going to be longer than it has to be. And I was like, alright, fine. And it smelled really weird. I remember that. And then whenever I woke up, I threw up. I couldn't keep anything down for about 24 hours. I had a really not so good reaction to the anesthesia. But my neck hurt so bad. It hurt to swallow, and throwing up made it even worse, because like all the muscles, it was just extremely uncomfortable, you know. And I had to have an IV in because I couldn't keep down any fluids, and the IV was really uncomfortable on my hand. And the food at the hospital was not that good. I remember I ordered a chocolate shake. It was this big. This big. That's how much shake that they gave me. This much. But anyway, so I stayed the night in the hospital because your calcium levels can drop like really low, and if they drop too low then you can seize. And so I had to take like calcium and like some other like stuff, and they made me eat Tums, like a lot of Tums. But my calcium levels were really good, and so they let me go home. And you know, the weekend I had to rest. I was still really groggy from the anesthesia because I still wasn't feeling too good. But a couple days later, Monday, I decided I was going to go back to school, but I couldn't drive because I couldn't turn my head, which was really annoying. So I had to have my family take me. And then on the next day, Tuesday, it still hurt to turn my head, but I was like, I'm not going to rely on someone else for a ride again. So I drove myself. And so that's the story of the surgery itself. So I had like a follow-up appointment like the next week or something like that. I don't 100% remember. And they were talking about having to get my full body scan because they weren't sure if it had, they were pretty sure it hadn't spread because they took out some of the lymph nodes around it, like the ones on top, to see if there was anything in there. But they thought it was pretty encapsulated, which was really good. We caught it really early, which, like, I'm so grateful that I fell down those stairs. But we had an appointment to go talk about the full body scan, and that's when they told me that for a month I couldn't have anything that had iodine in it because your thyroid takes up iodine, and what they want to do is they want to starve it. They want to starve it of thyroid hormone, and they want to starve it of iodine, so that so that whenever they give you the tracer, whenever you're going for the full body scan, it lights up. You know, it's greedy and like starving for the iodine, so it like sucks it all in, and anywhere that has that has taken in the iodine like lights up, so that they can see it whenever they do the scan. And so then proceeded the worst month of my entire existence. Like, looking back, I don't know how I managed school. I don't remember learning anything that month, like in any of my classes, which sucks because I'm in a bunch of AP classes and dual credit. I don't remember any of it, really, and I don't remember. I was always tired, like 24/7, no matter how much I slept. Like, it never went away. And I wasn't hungry at all, ever, and I was gaining weight, you know, like a girl's dream. So I was always, and I had been losing weight before this, you know, I know I'm a bit chubby, and I had been losing weight because I wanted to like get into shape, you know, for myself, and then I started gaining it back, which hurt. I mean, it didn't like physically hurt, but like emotionally, because like you deal with cancer, you deal with surgery, you deal with missing 13 days of school in total first semester, you deal with like the emotional stress about this, and you have to take medicine for the rest of your life, and you're never in remission. It's just like no evidence of disease, you know, and it was just a lot. And so we were, and you don't know how much food has iodine in it. Like, I couldn't eat out because they use salt, and you know what has iodine in it? Iodized salt, which pretty much every place uses. They gave us like this thick cookbook from like Thyroid, and they had like a bunch of recipes in it, so we like looked through it, we picked the ones I liked, and I'm a really picky eater. We cooked the food, we ate it. Some of it was great, some of it wasn't that good. There was a really good black bean soup, and I'm white, yes. I love Starbucks, yes. But I don't get, okay, I lie, I get it a lot, but I don't get it as often as some people do, and I didn't understand how much I would miss it until like I couldn't have it at all. But anyway, so finally the day comes around for my full body scan, and by that time I'm miserable. Like, my face is puffy, I'm tired, I'm not hungry, I just want to sleep and crawl in a hole and die, and I was just miserable. Like, and I forgot to mention that at this time I was in a musical at school. I was in Greece, I was in the ensemble, which like I was totally fine with because I missed a lot of practices for like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But I don't even know how I managed that. Do you know how many dances are in Greece? A lot. There's a lot of dances in Greece, and a lot of them are like really like, yeah, Greece. Shaken at the High School Hop. Most of y'all don't know that song, but that song is in there, and it is literally just dancing the entire time, like flips and stuff like that. But anyway, we were doing that. I don't know how I managed that. That was, every time I would go backstage, I would I would lay on the ground backstage, and I would just sort of like be like miserable with my friends back there, and I'd always be like, oh, what's wrong, and I'm just like, oh no, I'm fine, like, don't worry about me. So okay, so I would lay back there, and they would be like, oh, are you fine? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine, like, I'm fine, I'm just really tired, I'm hungry. I wasn't hungry. What was I saying? Oh yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we did the full body scan, and I was really grateful because after that, if they had found anything that was concerning, I would have had to do radioactive iodine, which would basically put me in a week of isolation because you're radioactive. You know, you take like, I don't really know, I didn't really research it as much as I probably should have. I researched everything else, but basically you take like a pill or something like that that has radiation in it, and it's iodine, so all the thyroid cells suck it up, and it basically just kills all the remaining thyroid cells, cancerous, non-cancerous, everything, so you don't have anything left anywhere in the body, like in your lymph nodes and where your thyroid is, if it had spread to your lungs or anywhere else, you know, so it kills all of that. And so luckily I didn't have to have it, which I'm grateful for every single day, because I could not afford to miss another week of school. But I could finally start eating what I wanted, you know, and I could finally start taking the thyroid hormone again. I had read so many like horror stories of like people who it took them years to get back to where they were before, energy wise, and I didn't want that to happen to me, you know. I wanted everything to go back to normal, which I knew wasn't gonna happen. Like, I was facing having a new normal, you know. I was really bad about taking medicine in the morning, and I knew that's what I had to do. Like, I had to take medicine in the morning, or else I was basically gonna die or be miserable, or so it was a new normal, you know, and that's really hard to face, especially like as a 17-year-old, as a senior, you know. You should be worrying about like scholarships in college, not about cancer of any form, you know. And so I started taking the thyroid hormone, and just recently, you know, and that was in October 11th, no, 12th is whenever I was able to start taking thyroid medicine again. And just now, and this is, when I'm recording this is January 4th. Yeah. January 4th is when I'm starting to feel normal. I can start working out again. I mean, granted, it's really light workouts, but I'm starting to lose some of the weight that I gained whenever I was off the hormone for a month. You know, the worst month of my life, literally hell on earth. And I'm feeling a lot better, and my scar looks really good. I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see. So this is my scar. Let me see if I can. Okay, this side is a little bit bumpy still, but this side is like you can't really even feel it, and if you wear a choker you can't see it at all. So maybe that light makes it a little bit better to see, but that's what it looks like. It's fairly small, but people ask me all the time, they're just like, what happened? Did someone like slice your throat? Like, what happened? Did you almost get robbed? I'm just like, no, I got my thyroid removed, and most people have no idea what it is. You know, I like educating people about it, which is why I'm making this video. Like, I want people to understand, like, what it is, what people go through. And I'm making this video for myself and for people like me, because it's a rare cancer to have as a teenager. You know, you don't really hear about it that often. And I had no idea what to expect, other than what my doctors were telling me. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know really anything going into it. I was going in blind, and I had my family, you know, but I wanted people out there who were going through something similar to know that there was other people going through it. You know, you're not alone, and that it's not, okay, it's bad. Cancer is bad. It sucks. But you can push through it in most cases, you know. And you'll eventually, it'll get better, you know. There's like a really big hump up there that it might take so long to get to, but once you're over it, like, you'll start feeling better, you'll have energy, it's not going to be too bad. And that's how it was for me. I mean, other people might not have the same experiences as I do, and other people have it way worse, and some people have it better. But I just wanted to make this to help people, and sort of for my past self, because I remember whenever I was diagnosed, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna look it up on YouTube and see if there's anyone who's like posted anything about this, and they can like like I can hear their story and maybe I can get an idea of what was happening, but I couldn't really find anything. I couldn't find anything, but I found this one video of this girl talking about it, but her situation wasn't like mine, you know? And I think that the more information out there about certain things, like, the better it is for a lot of people. And so I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to, like, to share my story. One, because I thought it was interesting that I fell down the stairs like an idiot, and that's how I found everything happened. You know, on the way to the ER, I was talking to my mom, and I was just like, man, if everything happens for a reason, why did I fall down the stairs? And she was just like, I don't think everything happens for a reason, Rose. Like, I think some things just happen, you know? Boy, was she wrong. And I think about that a lot, you know? I think that things do happen for a reason, and Jesus himself pushed me down the stairs so that they would find that I had cancer and that they could get it removed, and they caught it really early. Like, I would never have known about it, and it could have been way worse, you know? And I think about that a lot, and I'm grateful every single day because I know people out there have it way worse than I do. But I mean, cancer is cancer, man. Like, there's no good cancer. It just sucks, you know? And I may not have had chemo, but boy, I had several months of just hell, like emotional turmoil, because I didn't know what was going to happen in my future. I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get back to feeling normal. You know, I was going to have a scar on my neck that I really don't want, even now. But, like, my friends and my family were there, and they helped me get through it. You know, I sit there and I'm just like, well, why the hell did this happen to me? You know? And I think that this might be part of the reason, so I can talk to people about it, and people can know that they're not alone. I don't want people to feel like they're alone going through any sort of issues that they might have. So things are looking up now. I'm feeling so much better. I mean, I take thyroid hormone every single day. Today I forgot, but that's fine because I can just take 2 tomorrow because it builds up in your system. You know, it's great. But I can't really remember. I have a horrible memory, and you can't forget to take it. So I'm working on that. I'm working on taking it every day. And I'm going to college next year, which is really exciting, which is part of the reason I wanted to do this video, because I am going to be majoring in radio, television, and film, and I hadn't really filmed that much. I mostly just, like, wrote things, and, like, you know, I like writing, and I like screenwriting, you know, and so I'd never really done any sort of, like, actual videoing, so I figured, like, hey, this will be a perfect time to do it. And I'm sorry I keep looking at the viewfinder, because, like, I've never done this before. So yeah, I'm going to college next year, radio, television, and film. Like, things are looking up. You know, if there's any good that came out of this, there's scholarships out there for cancer survivors. And it, you know, it's really weird to, like, think of myself as a cancer survivor. You know, because there's people out there who have survived, like, way worse than I did. But, like, people have told me, like, you don't need to go through the worst of anything to feel validation for what you went through, because what I went through is not good, and a lot of people won't go through it, you know, and I did, and that's hard to think about, like, looking in retrospect. Like, it's hard to think about, like, what you went through. You can apply for scholarships and you have something good to write on, like, name a hardship that you've been through in your life that's really shaped you as a person. And if anything, this has really shaped me as a person. It's made me appreciate the good days. It's made me appreciate modern medicine. It's made me appreciate falling down the stairs, you know? It's made me appreciate a lot of things, and it really has shaped me as a person. It's really changed my outlook on a lot of things, and I'm really grateful for that. I mean, I'm not grateful for cancer because cancer sucks, and I'm not upset that I went through it. I mean, I am, but I wouldn't change the fact that it happened if I could. I just want to share what happened with people so that they know, and that it's not something that people don't talk about, you know? And for people who are interested, the exact name for what I had was papillary thyroid carcinoma. So yeah, it was a classical variant and a follicular variant of papillary thyroid carcinoma. for anyone who is interested. I don't know if y'all care that much. So I had 2 variants because there's actually 2 nodules when they went in and found it. And what I thought was interesting, whenever they were telling me like the results of whenever they did, they take it out and they cut your thyroid into like 1,000 little pieces, like thin little slices, so they can like examine every single part of it to see if there's anything that is spread, you know, to the other side or anywhere else. And so they did that, and they were just like, you know, it was really interesting because there was like dead tissue and stuff that was forming around where they were, and they weren't sure if that was from the biopsy or if that was from like the cancer. So I still don't know like what caused the dead tissue around there, and I don't really know what caused the cancer. I mean, my grandma had thyroid cancer like a long time ago, and she got it removed. She didn't have the same kind I did, and it doesn't really run in the families. Like, it's in medullary, I think, is the one that might run in their family, but like papillary and follicular and maybe anaplastic does not run in your, like, is not like genetic, you know. I mean, you might have a predisposition for cancer, but like it's not, it's some, like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it. I'm not a doctor, so I could be getting like a lot of this information wrong. This is all just information that I found on Google. So yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say about this. I might add some things in later, and I might edit this a bit because I ramble and talked a lot, and this is like cut up into like 4 different things. So I'm 17, my name is Rose, and I might make more videos after this. I'm not really sure. I've never really uploaded anything to YouTube, and I don't know what else I would do other than just like rant about things. So yeah, but yeah, that is the fun little story of how I fell down the stairs, got a concussion, got diagnosed with cancer. So yeah, I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video, or at least got something out of it. You may not have even watched this whole thing, and it's really jumpy and not that, like, it's not, you know, it's my first video, sorry. But yeah, and by the way, if y'all heard any like weird squeaking noises, I have 2 birds, their names are AC and DC, and they never shut up. They sound like squeaky toys. Or if you heard talking, that's my brother and my dad in the other room. So yeah, that's the video, and I'm gonna go now, so bye.